Welcome, this is Shakti Carola Navran. Welcome to my weekly power astrological forecast for the coming week. So I do this every week for you, and my intention with it is to bring the whole world of astrology and what it can do for you a little bit more into the forefront of your consciousness. And I'm doing astrology now for 40 years. And I'm very passionate about it, and I'm a professional astrologer, so I not only have my own personal experience with it, but I have clients all over the world because I do my work online, so I can see how helpful it is and what it can do for people in their life. So with what I'm doing today, I'm going to talk about the coming week, kind of crystallize the theme of the week into something to bring to your awareness, and I kind of try to stay away from too much astrological bubble, because I realize that not many people who actually listen to this forecast do have all the astrological training, so I try to keep it simple. And then at the end of the video, I go through each and every day of the week and give you the highlights and what to expect. And the whole idea is, if you're prepared, if you know what are the celestial forces of the week or any given day, you are more prepared. You can make better choices. And the idea is that we all live without doubt our chart, and we all are impacted by the actualizations in the heavens. But what's not set in stone is what we do with it. So the future is not set in stone. It's up to us and our state of consciousness, how we take those celestial potentials, and if we manifest them what I call more low end or more high end. And the deciding factor is consciousness. So that's my whole intention, to kind of fine-tune you, so you know what to expect and how you can surf the celestial wave. And I live on Maui, Hawaii, and we know that you can't fight a wave. I mean, right now in winter we have huge waves here, so you can't expect to conquer a wave. Same with the celestial energies coming at us. You can invite them in, you can start a dialogue, you can surf the wave, so to speak, but it all depends on your state of consciousness and how aware you are where to start. And this is what I'm going to talk with you about. Okay, so last week we talked about how we need to be super conscious these days, how we feed our mental body, what we put into our thoughts, what kind of frequency we are vibrating on. So I talked about the example that our brain is kind of a radio receiver, and we have a certain frequency with which we attract certain thoughts. And so it's kind of obvious that what we eat we become, but it's also what we think and what we nurture our mental body, our understanding with, is very impactful, especially with the kind of news we're presented with all the negativity out there. And so you want to be very, very conscious what you bring into your field, which means which books to read, which movies to watch, what people you surround yourself with, so to have a kind of mental hygiene. That was the invitation for us last week, and I offered a challenge last week for you to stay 1 week away from political newsletters and not watching the news, and just see how that shifts also your emotional body, the way you feel. So I would love to hear back from you guys how that was for you if you followed my suggestion. So this week we need to be prepared for interruptions in certain areas of flowing. So the big events are, we have a Mercury Retrograde and the Winter Solstice. So that's kind of what I want to talk about mainly. So whenever we have Mercury retrograde or any retrograde planets, what's actually happening is that the planet, from our perspective from Earth, is going backwards. So it's kind of revisiting degrees it has been in before. So this Mercury is going backwards in Capricorn. And then the winter solstice means that the sun is stepping into Capricorn. And Pluto is in Capricorn, so there's a lot of Plutonic undertone, especially to this Mercury retrograde. So we can prepare to expect certain interruptions, delays, troubles in interaction, social interaction, communications. So if somebody doesn't get back to you to a message you left, expect they might not gotten the message. So it's this kind of time. Also, if you plan to travel with an airplane somewhere over Christmas, make sure you have a carry-on with a night shift, with some snacks. So in case your luggage doesn't arrive, you kind of prepared. So that's just a smart thing to do. So in general, Mercury retrograde, because it's so much about our thinking and how we take in reality. So Capricorn is a sign of crystallization into the essential. So here we have the home of the minimalist, the elder, the wise one, who has shed all the stuff which isn't really important in life. So that's the invitation with the Mercury retrograde, to really figure out what's truly important in your life. And with Christmas time and the magic of it and the mystery of it, definitely it's an invitation to look at your family, your circle of friends. And I believe this is what is truly important in our life, how we can share from our heart, how we can be abundant and living from that level of loving kindness. And also, it's a wonderful time of the year, and actually a lot of people do that, to set your intentions for the coming year. So I usually do it between Christmas and New Year. It feels like it's really the week between the years. So it's a good time to do some kind of a review. Hi Diane, good to see you. So to do a review, kind of really look back into your year and what happened and what were your expectations and what have you done to follow through around those, and which projects and ideas and intentions do you want to carry over to the next year. And it's very powerful if you set intentions. And I do believe it's a good custom to do that at the beginning of the year. And I'm not talking about this, oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, that kind of thing, and then nothing happens after that. No, I really talk about becoming very conscious about where you want to go and planning the action steps, how to get there. That's also Capricorn. Capricorn is very organized, very structured, very grounded. So there was a class in finishing college. I don't remember where it was, maybe Washington, and they did a research project with them. So they asked them at the end of the semester, when they were going ready to leave wherever they want to go afterwards, and they asked the students what their plans were for their life, what their intentions were. And 5% of the students had very specific ideas and intentions. And then 20 years later, that's the kicker here, they revisited those people, and what came out was that the 5% who set very specific intentions, they kind of had an income of 90% of the whole group. So I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about if you set your intentions, there is a higher possibility that you really reach your goals. So it's not about money, it's about having a fulfilled life, having an abundant life, to have your priorities straight. So that's what I want you to do. And to have those intentions, it's really like the the light on the island, how do you call that, the light tower, directing so the ships don't run into the seashore. So your intentions kind of keep you feeling forward. And another example, when we have flights going from Hawaii to the mainland, they're 90% they're off course. So of course I have a computer which is always readjusting. So you're off course and you readjust. You're off course and you readjust. So doing this kind of preparation for the coming year is just the beginning of having the lighthouse up there where you want to go. And then of course throughout the year you need to adjust. You need to tune towards that direction. But it all starts very well between the years with these energies. And with the Mercury retrograde, it's really an invitation this year to look backwards and see what worked and what didn't. So I'm gonna do a more in-depth yearly forecast, what to expect in general 2017, and I'm gonna do it between the years. So if you sign up, wherever you want to sign up with me, I can keep you in the loop. Okay, so this Mercury retrograde is going on till the 8th of January. So it's really happening in this transition times between the end of the year and the beginning of the year. So yeah, that's a really nice way to be in alignment with those energies. I always say when we have these actualizations, you can imagine those forces as gods and goddesses coming, knocking at your door. And then you have to do something. If somebody knocks at your door, you either say no thank you, which you can't really do with the planets. They're gods after all, right? So you have to invite them in. You have to start a dialogue. You have to interact and offer them some cookies or whatever is appropriate. So yeah, remember, everything in the world of manifestation starts in the non-physical, starts in your own life, in your mental receptivity, in your consciousness, and how you hold yourself. And from that point, we attract. Okay, so concrete suggestions for this is read the small print if you do have to sign any documents. But also avoid signing contracts if you can till the retrograde turns direct. That's definitely helpful. I had all kinds of experiences around this. So you want to plan extra time for your travels. Keep overnight essentials, as I already said, with you. Maybe some snacks. Who knows where you get stranded. I had a friend a couple of years ago. He got stranded in New York on his way to Germany for 3-4 days, and all the hotels were packed, so it was a big headache. So if you don't get an answer to an email or a message you left on a phone or a text, assume the person didn't get it. And regroup and make plans for your next year. So these are the concrete action steps. Winter Solstice and Capricorn. So, as you might know, in the Western astrology, we relate the zodiac back to the seasons. So the astrological zodiac starts with the spring equinox, and all the equinoxes and solstices kind of relate to a certain sign. So the winter solstice is always when Sun enters Capricorn, and that kind of tightening and crystallizing onto what is essentials and how to make it through the winter, which used to be a big deal and probably still is for many people on the planet. So we are just the lucky ones, where we basically, most of us don't have to worry about what to eat for dinner. So in the Vedic astrology, they don't relate back to the seasons. They kind of try to relate where the planets are right now in the heavens. So I always say the difference between Western and Vedic astrology is kind of the pair of glasses you put on your nose. And it's just two valid but different perspectives. So it's not like one is better than the other, they're just different. So I happen to be a Western astrologer, so this is where my home is and my expertise. So it doesn't mean the Vedic doesn't work. With astrology, I believe it's especially crucial the state of consciousness the astrologer holds, and there's so many astrological tools and techniques out there. So when you learn astrology, then you always have to filter it through your own consciousness and your own understanding and your own maturity. So yeah, that's why you will have a whole variety of what people will do and can do with astrology. So for me, astrology really has become a spiritual path. I'm on now for 40 years, and it's a wonderful way to nurture that self-consciousness and having a mindset of self-inquiry and openness. Mm-hmm. So, as you have been following me, I am an evolutionary astrologer. And in evolutionary astrology, we look at the birth chart as your blueprint for this lifetime, and also as this is your lesson plan. This is what you have available in this lifetime to move up, to become more conscious, to integrate unconscious karmic structures, and basically to live a fuller life and help you thrive. So I'm also teaching astrology with my Master Astrology Academy. So if you really want to learn, especially from the evolutionary perspective, you want to check that out. I'm also an author. So I wrote the book Jewelry and Gems for Self-Discovery. So it's an introduction into astrology, and then how you can use gemstones in order to balance certain areas in your chart and therefore in your personality. And at the end of the video I will talk about the gemstone for the week and how you can support yourself. And a lot of people love gemstones, they have a lot of gemstones laying around, so then you know what you can really do this week and which one to pick. So okay, so we will look at Mars entering Pisces this week, December 19th, same day when the Mercury Retrograde is happening. And then on December 21st at 2:44 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's when the Sun steps into Capricorn, and that we call the Winter Solstice. And then we have the shifts of the Moon throughout the week. So Moon enters Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So that's kind of the brief overview. So now I'm going to go through all the days and give you a little information what's happening. So today is the 17th, Moon opposing Venus. So that might create some higher waves in your family or relationship. Moon and Venus are the two planets who symbolize the inner woman. Moon is our belly, our unconsciousness, our world of feelings, our gut feelings. And Venus is related to the heart. So which means that there is an invitation today to kind of drop deeper, not just react from the perspective of the mind. And if you can allow yourself to feel a little deeper, to hold your reactions for a moment, and to just allow what you feel to be there, that will go a long way to get you beautifully through the day. Okay, Sunday, Moon opposes Mars and Moon enters Virgo. So whenever we have Moon activations, remember Moon is kind of the belly of the wave. Moon connects us to the unconscious dimension and realm. So Moon is often responsible for triggering us into a certain reactivity, and then we kind of, wow, what happened? So it's kind of bypassing often our ability to wait for a moment and to consciously react or not. So whenever Moon is connected with Mars, Pluto, Uranus, this is where we have a very short fuse. It's like something triggers us and off we go. So so expect some of that potential in the air tomorrow. The high end of that would be to be aware of what feelings are there and pushing up. And if you hold them for a moment, then you have a choice what you want to do with them. And Mars Moon on the high end is really connecting with our passion, with something we are passionate about, and we are willing to put action and energy into to help something flower. So again, Sunday is a good day to kind of get prepared for the week, to contemplate, to be in the zone, to have time to even ask yourself certain questions. So then with the moon entering Virgo as well tomorrow, Virgo is very mental, is paying attention to details, putting things in order, into the right relation. So Virgo is also interested in service, in really contributing something to the bigger field of consciousness. And that might be a good day to really think what you want to do around this Christmas. Is it just you and your family, or would you like to contribute, to help others in less fortunate situations, do some volunteer service in a soup kitchen, things like that. That's definitely something which would be in alignment with the energy of the moon in Virgo, and really figure out what you can do in your world, in your field of influence. And I truly believe this is where our own true power places, is how we step into the world and the changes we bring. And this is what we can do. And if we all would do that very consciously to contribute goodness to the world, and we would live in a different world. And this is a time of the year to really do that. Okay, so Monday the 19th. This is a big day of the Mercury Retrograde in Capricorn. So it's just starting. So the starting day is usually the shifting energy. So it's usually we feel that. But remember, it's going on till the 8th of January. So it's just the start of that invitation to revisit certain areas and perspectives and beliefs you hold for true in your life. Then Tuesday the 20th, moon shift sign again. So every kind of 2.5 days the moon shift sign. And even if it's a short time frame, but nevertheless, in the moment the moon is there, it's actually quite strong, because we all kind of relate to how the moon is really influencing us. The tides, the crust of the earth, especially with the full moon, everything gets more exaggerated. So whenever the moon shifts into a different sign, we are impacted by the morphogenetic field, by the collective, and we do tap into a deeper field of consciousness according to the sign it is in. So with the moon entering Libra, there's a lot of orientation towards the other, relationship, friends. So in Libra it's about finding that balance, finding that peaceful connection. And in our individual body-mind system, it's happening in the heart. So the heart is the center chakra between the 3 uppers and the 3 lower chakras. So in the heart, it's kind of where all this alchemical transformation is happening. So with the moon in Libra, this is where the focus is, in the heart, in our relationship. And again, it fits well with the upcoming Christmas here. Then Wednesday the 21st, Winter Solstice. You can either do your own little ritual, or you can join a group. There are lots of events out there of people coming together and celebrate that end of the long the darkest night of the year, and the light coming back, and the promise that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. and there is spring coming after a long winter. So yeah, if you can, join some festivities. If you can't, make sure you take a moment, do a meditation, write something out, put it on your altar. These are all nice ways to attune yourself to the bigger energies. Thursday, the 22nd, Moon conjuncts Jupiter, which is always very expansive. So Jupiter always is big, bigger than life, kind of the king of the Roman gods. So it's a day of optimism, of looking forward. Kids are all over the place. I mean, it's so close to Christmas. They're really excited. So it's kind of that bubbling, overflowing, juicy energy. But it's also opposing Uranus and squaring Pluto. And Uranus always is a pattern interrupter, changing into a higher perspective. So with Uranus, I always say it's a good thing to consciously break some patterns, break the mold, do something different consciously. And that's a good intention to hold for Thursday. That you wake up in the morning and you decide how you're going to spend the day in some different ways than you usually do. So, very powerful. Okay, Friday the 23rd, Moon enters Scorpio. So after the love connection with the Moon in Libra and that outward orientation with that, now the Moon enters Scorpio, which is much more inwardly directed. So with Scorpio, we're connecting to the bottom, the belly of our wave. And that's our own unconsciousness. So Scorpio is the psychoanalyst, the magician, the one who connects to something under the surface. So that means that we are available, or that we are able to connect with a deeper truth in our own self, or looking outward into the world, into our relationships, how we have created our lifestyle and our certain circumstances we are in. So Scorpio is always an invitation to really face your deeper truth and whatever comes out of that. So Saturday next week, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna do the talk next week. Probably people don't want to watch this, or I let you know. If I do it, I put it on my site. So Saturday, Moon squares Venus, which is kind of a little similar than what we started out the week talking about the Moon opposing Venus. So next Saturday it's Moon squaring Venus, which is kind of again an invitation to really feel what's in your heart, to connect with your gut feelings, your belly, your unconscious dimensions. And Moon square Venus has some friction around that. So maybe the heart wants something different than the belly. In the belly we carry all these past life patterns and structures and unconscious ways of reacting out of however we have been conditioned in this lifetime or even further back. So the heart, I believe, is a good place to start off, to step into the world from that kindness, that place of kindness. Loving kindness is a good goal to have. And to make a point, you go shopping to Foodland and you make sure you smile at the cashier sitting there and serving you. So that's what I mean with we can bring that energy of our light, of our love, of our consciousness to everywhere we go and touch other people. And I'm a sucker for Christmas movies because they're kind of make me happy. I mean, if they're well done, of course. It's kind of the magic of Christmas, of those deeper heart intentions we all carry, because I do believe it's really part of our human need that we want to contribute. And yeah, we want to be loved ourselves, but to be able to lovingly contribute goes a long way to lift our own energy frequency, and it makes us feel good. So in a way, it's a very natural evolution to do that. Okay, hi Sherry, Melissa, good to see you guys. Okay, so let's get to the gemstone. I have talked about crystal quartz before, but I have talked about the Herkimer diamond, which is one of my favorite. But today I want to talk more about a normal, one-sided crystal. So you know they grow in these clusters, and this is one of my favorite pieces that has a whole landscape in there. So, but what I want you to play with this week is to use any crystal you have and program it with your intentions you hold for the coming year. And I'm going to talk maybe a little more about that, how to do that. Actually, I do have a video on YouTube under my gemstone channel, Stones and Stars. Stones, oh man, I don't remember the name. Stars and Healing Stones. Okay, that's the name. So anyway, there I have a video where I talk about programming, and before you program a crystal, you want to make sure you cleanse it, because before it ends up in your hands, it has gone through many people's hand and picked up a lot of vibrations. So whenever you really want to work with a gemstone, it's a good thing to clean it beforehand. And then to program a certain intention and focus into it. And then you can meditate with the stone, or you can put it on your altar where you see it. I have lots of stones laying here in front of my computer screen. First of all, it helps me not to be so impacted by all the electrosmog here, but I like to rest my eyes, and I'm always fiddling with stones and play with them. So I mean, the gemstones really are a whole world which can enrich our own experience, and we can do that by meditating, putting them onto our body or our third eye. This is where we can get actually a lot of information about what frequency and theme a certain gemstone carries. Or you have jewelry with certain stones, so you wear them very consciously. Yeah, in general, when we work with gemstones, we work with a super balanced, alchemically perfect crystal structure and shape. So it's the mineral kingdom, which is kind of an in-between of bringing the light energy into the material realm. So that's why crystals are very powerful to work with. So that's yeah, just play around with it. If you want to have more information about the gemstones, you can also check out my book where I cover it really more in depth, how you can work with gemstones and why they do what they're doing, and why and how they relate and can actually support areas in your birth chart. And then of course I have something I call the gemstone profile report, where I give you a very clear report with gemstones for each of the planets in your chart. So you will find a gemstone how you can support and heal your heart. You will find a gemstone for your Mercury. You can find a gemstone which is a most perfect stone for your Sun. And let me tell you, it's not the one you believe is your birthstone, because those where the gemstones people know about are invented by the Jewelers Guild, which I was part of. I mean, the jewelers. But it goes so much deeper. So if you're really fascinated and love gemstones, you want to start out with your gemstone profile, and then you can dive in and start working with those stones to begin with. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask. So let me read here in my notes. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, the growing community of gemstones. Yeah, if you start with gemstones, they just speak their own language of beauty, of just holding them, having a crystal in your pocket or at your workplace. It's a beautiful thing to do. Okay, you guys, thanks, Sherry. Merry Christmas to you. And so if I don't see you guys again, I hope you have a wonderful, insightful, contemplative end of the year. And I hope I see you between the years, so I will let you know. And till then, enjoy and have a wonderful week. All the best, aloha, and I see you around.